Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin. I garden in Zone 6 in Northwest Connecticut. So I want to talk to you a little bit about why we love New England. It's a perfect time of year. The air is cool and crisp. It's not hot and humid anymore, but it's also a great time for all those fun things like apple picking and pumpkin carving and decorating for fall and decorating for Halloween if that's your thing. But it's also a great time in the garden to reevaluate what has worked, what hasn't worked. And it's a great time to plant. So if you already have some ideas of what you're going to do and you can find the materials, I suggest you do it. I have myself been already had to pull out some calla lilies just because the pot got drowned. I'll probably start cutting back some containers. I'm going to replant some containers. I'll take you along for that. I'll do a little bit of fall decorating. I don't go crazy. I don't have little kids anymore, so I don't go crazy for Halloween. But I do a few things, and we don't have kids trick-or-treating right here. But it's a great time to reevaluate your garden. What worked, what didn't work? Did your containers work? What did you love? What did you not, what didn't really perform? Not every plant performs in every zone, in every garden. I'm a zone 6, but in theory, but our property and our little neighborhood is really a little bit of a microclimate. And so some things work, some things don't work. This has been a weird year for things. My roses have not really performed. My dahlias, I say the same thing everybody else has said. My dahlias are so slow. They're finally starting to put on a little bit of growth. I guess it was good that I went away for 2 weeks in Italy and I could just leave things alone and maybe they would, finally say, okay, it's time to grow. So take a look around. What needs to be brutal? If it didn't work, pull it out and think of something else. I'm going to do a video on fall shrubs that are great for fall color, and same with perennials. So stay tuned for that. I am going to do a video on what my dahlia order is going to be for next year. I'll try once again to save dahlias. I have no good luck with that. I'm going to try another new method this year and see if that works. So I'll take you along. I'm also going to show you just scenes from New England. I know that I've been to Colorado in the fall. The aspens are gorgeous. I know other parts of the country are beautiful. It does get very crowded here during leaf peeping season. So I'll warn you if you're coming, if you're going to places like Woodstock, Vermont, up around Killington, if you're going to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, if you're coming to Litchfield, Connecticut, where I am, these places get really crowded once the official leaf peeping season really kicks into gear. What it'll be like this year, who knows? The weather's been weird. Obviously, there's been a drought almost everywhere, and then we get these massive downpours. So how's that going to affect the leaves? We're just going to have to wait and see, just like we do every year. But it doesn't usually disappoint. So whether it's pumpkins, and I'll show you, I went to where I get my CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture. They had a million mums and pumpkins and gourds yesterday. So I'll show you that. You'll see what I ended up with. And I don't know about you, I'm not the biggest fan of mums. I like asters, and I have 3 of those. Sometimes I'll put in a mum. They just don't last. So if you're going to buy mums, my tip is make sure you buy them really tightly closed, because as soon as they open, really they're finished. So you might want to, if you're putting it in a pot, stick the whole pot in there, and then be prepared to just pull it out and put something else in or put a new one in. At this time of the year, you can really redo your containers and pack them full. Plants are just not going to grow that much in the fall, just like in the spring. The spring containers, summer containers are a different story. That stuff's going to last, for months. But at this time of the year, here in Northwest Connecticut, let's say it's now September 17th, I think it is. We really have maybe 6 weeks left until we have a frost. So you really have a very short window. So think about that. Anyway, stay tuned, subscribe, please. Hit that like button. It really does make a difference. And I'll bring you along for some scenes of New England in the fall. Hope you enjoy it. As I was picking up my CSA, there are so many kinds of pumpkins. Look at them, like the turban style, every color under the sun, the green, the yellow, the orange, the white, the striped, big, small, just amazing amount of pumpkins to choose from. So you can decorate to your heart's content, especially if you really love that Halloween decorating. I love this blue, green, turbany sort of wrinkled one. You can see, and you'll see sooner that that's one I got. Gourds of every size and shape. It's just sort of a wonderland. Of course, nothing beats fall in New England, but it only lasts a few weeks. So we kind of go crazy with, a million mums here. But it's more than just, foliage. We love our fairs and our orchards for apples and cider, and farms for pumpkin picking. But the window for all fall activity is so short. It just depends on the weather, of course. So whether you want mums, you want mini pumpkins, you want corn stalks, you want Indian corn, there's something for everyone in the fall. Do you decorate? I'll show you what I did. Look at these cool corn cob wreaths. I thought those were very cool. There also were wreaths just made out of the stalks. I was going to get some stalks, but they were so tall I couldn't get them in my car. The broom ones. Squash of every kind, butternut squash, carnival squash, lots of different types of, and they still have this particular place, Gretschik Farms in New Hartford. They also are a proven winners grower, and they still have a bunch of plants. So I swapped out some of my containers, and I'm going to show you that. So hope you enjoy this little sneak peek fall in New England. So I pulled the calla lilies out of this aqua container, and I got some heather, and I got a dark purple black calla lily to put in there. And I moved the container from my apple bed over here to the front porch. As you can see, this grass has been here all season, and it was a little slow to take off from proven winners, but I really like this grass. This is Skyrocket Fountain Grass Pennisetum, and the heather is a perennial here, but this calla lily is an annual. So I'm not going to worry about any of this stuff, and at the end of the season I'll just toss this stuff. This container can't stay out in the winter, obviously, since it's glazed. So let me finish taking you along here for the rest of this. I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me do every single step. Next up, it was time to take Eustacia Vi out of this container, my David Austin Rose. It's done, I can't even get over the size. Getting it out of this container was a nightmare for me. And there was no one around to help me. That Alternathera plum dandy, I didn't want to take out, but I had to pull the whole container out in order to get the rose out and to get that support out. I love that support. I couldn't put it back in. So what I thought I would, what I got was some, perennials and annuals. But again, I'm just going to treat them as annuals. I got a celosia, I got a yarrow. You'll see here. So I got stuff that I thought would look nice with the plum dandy Alternathera. And yes, that really was one plant. And you can see the goldenrod, the solidago. So I kind of played with the setup a few times until I found something that I liked. And I got this container replanted. And then I put the Eustacia Vi in the one of the new beds in the back. So I'll show you what this looked like. My next task was to take the big containers in the back apart. So I had Newly Noir Coleus in here. I had Espresso Glads in these two containers. I had some Supertunia Latte in this one. In the other one, I had a Plectranthus Guacamole that you'll see. And I also had a Super Bells in the other one. So these containers, I had to take the support out and I used them other places for the time being now. And what I got to put in here, and I will leave this in because these containers should be able to stay out with no problem. I got a really nice size denim and lace Russian sage, proven winners, again from Gretchik's Farms. I did get an annual sunflower rudbeckia. This won't last very long, but I also got a little buddleia. And I'm going to leave the buddleia in there, and I'm going to leave the Russian sage in there. So fingers crossed, hopefully, this'll make it through the winter. I thought about trying to save the gladcorns. Decided not to. I don't know if I will plant glads again next year. They're lovely, but I felt like unless you plant them successively, I didn't love it. They were the star in these containers, but once they're gone, they were gone. So that didn't really work out really well. You can see I put some Proven Winners slow release fertilizer in here. These containers are a pretty good size, and I think they should be okay through the winter. And the two containers are identical, as you'll see when I finished here. So let me know, what are you doing with your containers? Are you swapping some things out? Like I said earlier, I'm not really big on mums. I have some asters, but they're all in the ground. And I have so many black-eyed Susans. I have a lot of coneflowers. I have a lot of things for fall interest in my garden. And I just feel that mums just go by the wayside so quickly. So that's what I do. Tell me what you do. I'm curious. And are you going to swap things out? Do you put in some annuals? Do you put in perennials? Do you just toss the containers? I have a few that obviously I'm going to be taking apart that have caladiums in them, and begonias in them, and cannas. These things aren't going to last once it starts getting cooler. We're back into a little bit of a warm period. We had some really cool weather the last couple days, but these things should be okay now till we have a really serious frost, all of the containers and stuff. Of course, if you live here in New England, you love all the seasons as each one has something really unique to offer. The color spreads like a wave starting in northern New England and slowly makes its way all the way to Long Island. This is a special time to stop, take it all in, go for a hike, a kayak ride, a bike ride, or just follow any one of a number of car drives throughout the region. Take part in all those crazy activities, like experiencing a corn maze, stopping at a roadside stand for cider donuts, go apple picking, or hit the pumpkin patch. Here in Connecticut, agricultural fairs are every weekend now. We love cider donuts, and we actually drive up to a nursery in Vermont called Equinox Nursery to get fresh cider donuts. If you love apple fritters, you can't miss the Southington Apple Harvest Festival. Vermont and New Hampshire have beautiful scenic drives, and don't forget to get some cheese when you're in Vermont. Stop at any one of a number of farms. There are many lovely inns all around, but make reservations, and it gets crowded during fall foliage season. Maybe stop at a vineyard. Hiking offers so many opportunities. Maybe tackle Mount Washington. I've done it twice. Of course, there are tons of museums and art galleries and sports, and get ready to be wowed by the colors, the reds, the oranges, the golds. Sweep across the area. Please come along and enjoy fall in New England, and I'm going to keep you updated. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and I hope you enjoy this.